Mzansi, and welcome to Afternoon Express. I'm Palisa Tembe, and on today's show, we're focusing on all the beautiful ways to be a man. We meet fashion designer Toby Cooper for our Fashion Express Thursday, and he'll share why he chose to represent LGBTQ plus culture in his designs. We'll be connecting with TV personality Imran Vega, who shares why he finally decided to disclose his sexuality with Mzansi. And we'll be kicking it off with three beautiful boys: social media personality Lasizwe Dambuza, model and activist Sanele Clover, and TV presenter Ryle Demoni, as we discuss gendered beauty norms and the modern definition of masculinity. We've asked you this on social media: fill in the blanks. This time, a man is blank.
Welcome to Thursday, Mzansi.
Welcome.
I'm super excited about today's show, showing men in all their forms and things that they've done. But you're going to cook up a beautiful something today.
Yes, I am. And we also are celebrating our strong, amazing, beautiful men. We're going to be making a Clover fresh milk stuffed French toast.
Ooh, can't wait.
You want to watch this one, guys. You do not want to miss it. Go to afternoonexpress.co.za, get the recipe details. But for now, let's talk about loving the skin we're in.
It is completely necessary to show men, and especially boys, that there are many ways of being a man. There is a pressure that is placed on young boys to conform to gender norms, all of which are arguably rooted in toxic masculinity. How can toxic masculinity be defined, and how can it be addressed? One of our favorite local social media personalities, Lasizwe Dambuza, South African model and activist Sanele Clover, and Springbok athlete and TV presenter Ryle Demoni join us to chat more about this. In today's Ingram Skin Sessions, we'll be looking at gendered beauty norms and the modern definition of masculinity. Gents, welcome back to the loft.
Hey! Yeah. Yo, what's up?
I'm so excited to be touching base with you boys, because you guys are no stranger to our family here on Afternoon Express. But bringing these minds together for such an important panel conversation has got me all the way hyped. I mean, what Ingram's is doing is just mind-blowing. So, gents, let's just start off this conversation by defining, what does masculinity mean to you, and why would you define it in this way? Ryle?
Oh, nice question, Palisa. I think the traditional idea of masculinity, which is something I was brought up in, was very stereotyped. It had a specific stigma, a man's man. And I definitely think it's an ideology that has changed, especially in the current time we're living in now. Masculinity, to me, just kind of defines any assertiveness, any dominance that can come out in your character, in your persona, and it's just a different archetype of many that we should have as an individual.
And Sanele, I mean, does this resonate with you, what Ryle has just said?
For me personally, when I think of masculinity, it's more of an insecurity. You have this ideology of how I should be as a man. I need to act a certain way. I need to be I need to do X, Y, and Z to prove that I am a man. I can't cry, because if I cry, people can think I'm a bit too feminine, and I feel like that's how a lot of men have been brought up in a lot of the families. And I feel like that has played some part in what the situation that we actually have at the moment.
Lasizwe, what gets me so excited to have you a part of this conversation is you are a man who has not shied away from every single corner of your being. Whether you feel like slapping on a wig today, wearing that dress, honey, or full on being suited and booted, you'll do so.
For me, the word muscularity and what a man is supposed to be like till this day confuses me, because as you said, it depends on what type of day it is. I can slap on a wig. I can literally the next day wear a suit. The next day I'm in sweatpants. And till this day people ask me like, are you a man? Yes, I am a man.
And I think that that's what a lot of people miss when it comes to the way people choose to express themselves. So then, gentlemen, how can society's current views and expectations of masculinity and what a real man is affect men's mental health today?
You have a lot of people now going to gym, doing certain procedures in order to fit into this aesthetic on how a man is supposed to be like. But I feel like now I think times are actually changing. We know no one wants to conform to the traditional way of how a man is supposed to look, and it's and shying away from toxic masculinity. I think that that's in the new frontier to actually embrace this way of eliminating all of that.
Yeah. And Ryle, I mean, for yourself, in terms of mental health, what role does this toxic masculinity play?
I think it's currently it's such as Lasizwe said, it's such a confusing space. What does it even mean, number one? But number two, I can definitely add to the fact that current views are not healthy. It doesn't promote and nourish a healthy environment for the modern day man. And for all of us on the panel here, the current view is it's too stigmatized, number one, and it's too much of a box. What does a man mean? Does a man mean that you have to have a family? Do you have to look a certain way? Do you have to do certain things? If you tick those boxes, do you qualify as a man? This is a view which I think is so old school and so outdated that we should no longer even consider this to be a point at all. And we need to really look at reinventing the wheel, because I think those current views, which are very outdated, is what is putting everyone and what a man is supposed to be in this very small box, limiting us from our actual potential and limiting us from becoming and realizing our beauty. Like you see, Lasizwe gets the opportunity and he takes the moments to become who he wants to be on that day. And that's empowering. And the olden day views that we have of masculinity doesn't promote that. It doesn't allow for us to, from internally, I think, is where every one of us would want to put a wig on one day, put a suit on the next, be naked the third day if you wanted to. But we are so afraid of the box that we're supposed to fit in that if we don't belong there, we're going to be ridiculed and outcasted and kind of shunned.
So then, Lasizwe, as someone in the public eye, how differently do you think men and women's skincare is marketed? And does it further perpetuate toxic masculinity?
Back in the day, you know, your modern man wouldn't do a facial, wouldn't do manicure, wouldn't exfoliate. They would literally just slap on a facial wash, and then they're done. And then if you go into the women's section, it's literally the cleanser, the exfoliator, the tissue oil, you know, all of these things. But now, you know, slowly but surely, we are, as a society, I guess we are now opening up to the idea of what is actually a man, you know, what is a man? Because now the modern man does buy an exfoliator, does buy a cleanser, does buy tissue oil, does buy a moisturizer and sunscreen. And that was, back in the day, a female, you know, department. So we are, I feel like society, we are slowly but surely, we you know, we still say, oh no, a man must behave like this, but must behave like this and like this and like this. But your actions are different. Y'all will catch y'all at the salons doing your nails, but you keep saying, Dad, a man is supposed to behave like this. How is a man supposed to behave?
It just seems like there's a lot of confusion and there's some hypocrites in the mix. But I love the fact that each individual is defining it for themselves. So, Sanele, how then can we break down these gendered beauty norms?
When you have certain products that say XYZ for men, and then you have another brand that's solely for women, if I can say that. And then, I mean, I feel like the one is literally it's literally the same ingredients as something that a woman would use, but it now caters for the man to kind of like, you know, make a man feel good about buying a specific face cream and I feel like that's what a lot of brands have done. They've tried to like introduce certain regimes to men so they could make them feel good about like going to the store and stores and stuff and buying these because it says for men. For example, personally for me, that was a problem that I used to. I was like, oh my goodness, okay, what will people say if I buy X, Y, and Z? But then I realized I was like, it doesn't really matter. Like I use female roll-ons because for me it's good for my skin.
Interesting, you know, Sanele, that you have mentioned the fact that there is a certain stigma around just labeling, down to the labeling on a certain package, whether whether it's written for men or for women, even though maybe the ingredients might be good and beneficial for your skin type. So this is also looking at this gendered beauty norms and flipping it on its head. On a more serious note, gentlemen, we are dealing with the second pandemic here, which is gender-based violence. Now, with the recent rise of femicide and gender-based violence in South Africa, what message would you like to share to inspire change?
I love that question, Palisa. And I think the message I want to give to everybody is to kind of encourage the entire viewpoint and that old school normality of what it means to be a man and what it means to be a individual is what needs to come out more. So let's look at each other more as human beings and respect each other for whatever it is that we are showcasing in ourselves. We need to promote our beauty and realize that everybody's beauty is unique, number one. And number two, I think from the ground up and from youngsters, we need to show them and encourage them to understand that every single individual has something beautiful to share with the world. And we need to really just truly encourage that. I think with that being said, it will allow for a better level of respect when it just comes to human beings in general. There should be no difference between how you treat a woman and how you treat a man. I don't see why there needs to be any box ticking for each or either of those two parties. I think if we go from the ground up, we should be encouraging our own beauty that doesn't necessarily stick to a norm and a box, number one. Mm-hmm. And number two, also to show the youngsters that, listen, everybody, how they look, how they feel is to be respected. And I think with that can come a very different outlook on gender-based violence, and it will almost eliminate that. And with that, it just comes a level of education and respect for each other.
Yeah. A very powerful message coming from you, Ryle. Thank you so much, Dumone. Always that gem of wisdom that we're looking forward to. Now, Sanele, yourself, when we look specifically at gender-based violence, what message do you have for South Africans? I
feel like in South Africa, we have a staggering rate of like fatherless households, and I feel like we're at the position right now to actually change the way our sons view females, and mothers have like the opportunity to raise their sons and change the perspective on how they treat women. And I feel like conversations are really important. And when you see your son coming home and crying, it's not like, no, stop crying and toughen up. It's more like, express your feelings, because I feel like a lot of children kind of, when there's that thing where you're shouting at your kid and telling your child to stop crying and to toughen up and be a man, there kind of is a detachment then, like the child doesn't want to communicate. Parents have the opportunity to actually talk and to groom their kids to actually respect women and to kind of dismantle this way that this is how a man's supposed to be, this is a woman, or a woman is X, Y, and Z. Started grooming your child and to give them wholesome morals to take out when they leave into the public society and to change that.
Absolutely. Well said, gentlemen. I mean, Lassies, we're very good and powerful points here being made by your male counterparts, Ryle and Sanele. What message do you have specifically regarding gender-based violence?
I think for me personally, we need to throw the whole book away. We need to start again, I like to go back to me growing up, because I grew up in a female household, and like I remember, as Sanele would say, like when you'd come home and your parents, your mother would be like, or your dad would be like, "Hey, men, don't cry. What a fish face." That book needs to be thrown out, because the braining and the wiring of it, like we need to start training the new youth, the new generation, that it's okay for a man to cry, and it's okay for your little son to know that a female, this is how you treat her. You do not beat her. You do not rape her. You do not treat her like she's inhuman. I feel like personally, we got to restart this book. We got to start again. We got to literally rewrite the story and literally tell how a modern man is supposed to conduct themselves, especially around women.
On that note, we should definitely start looking at Masculinity, the New Testament, and start writing that book immediately. Hey?
I'm writing that book. I'm in there.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for reminding us that we need to just fix in and change that foundation from the core. Cheers. Thanks to to Ingrams for this inspiring campaign, encouraging us to speak more openly about these issues. We're joining them in telling South Africans that they only have one skin. So remember to nourish it and wear it bravely. Join in the conversation by sharing your skin story with us. Comment on our Facebook post with the hashtags Ingrams and the hashtag Your Skin, Your Brave. And you can stand a chance to win a 10,000 Rand cash prize and the opportunity for your story to be featured on the show.
You only have one skin. Nourish it and wear it bravely.
Such a powerful message from three young but exceptional men who are doing the most. And I love their message. Lasizwe, thank you so much for calling us out, but also for celebrating us. I actually know one of his sisters. Her name is Charmaine. She just had a baby. They have such a beautiful family, actually.
Lots of women in the family.
Lots of women. Even Kanyim Bao is the sister, Balisa. I'm sure you've heard of that. They are brother and sister.
I think that this story just continues to ripple each week and it gets greater and bigger. And we're seeing Ingrams here in the campaign truly making their mark within the South African space.
Especially the fact that they're convincing and letting people remember and understand. You have one skin.
Absolutely.
Yes. Love it.
Now, Anele, I have to find out from you, a man is?
Sexy.
Oh, okay.
My man is sexy.
And speaking about sexy men, most recognizable as the suave host of Eastern Mosaic, Imran Vega has been in the entertainment industry for years, but living in the closet for most of that time. Coming up, he shares why he finally decided to disclose his sexuality with South Africa.
Express yourself.
Television personality Imran Vega has kept his entire life private until last year. He joins us now to discuss the reasons why he kept his orientation secret and why after all these years, he's finally come out. Imran, welcome to The Loft.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Imran, today's show I think is so monumental because we are taking head on the idea of this masculinity and what people seem to connect with when they hear the words. Firstly, you are a consistent presence on our South African television screens for 15 years. And during the entire time, you chose to keep your personal life very purposefully private. Why did you make this decision?
But in a nutshell, at the beginning of my career, I just didn't see how it was relevant to the work, frankly. And then when I experienced my first heady dose of fame or celebrity, there were many other surprising reasons for why I should compartmentalize and put a firewall between my personal life and my on-screen persona. And going back to that period, in terms of minorities, particularly ethnic minorities like the Indian community and the LGBTQ plus community, we were often misrepresented and frankly stereotyped by the mainstream media. And I didn't think I'd be able to tell my story with any kind of dignity. And as a magazine show host, I found it frustrating enough that some television viewers were trying to wrap their head around the novelty of an Indian dude on TV who doesn't do the news. And so I certainly didn't want to, I guess, give them an opportunity to fetishize and sensationalize my gayness in addition to that.
Yeah, it just seems like such a sensitive subject and one that is so sensitive that you can't trust anyone and everyone with it. But then in 2019, 6 years after leaving the public eye, you openly came out as a gay man. You recently published an incredibly candid and vulnerable article on your blog discussing the reasons for keeping your sexual orientation private. Now, why did this all come about?
The first DMs. Basically, it's bizarre. I seldom post personal photos of myself or glamorous pictures of myself on my Instagram. It's more about nature and beautiful food shots for inspiration and scenery. But I had some headshots done to update my CV, and I posted one of them to the gram. And my inbox just exploded. I mean, it was quite a surreal experience because I started receiving all these messages from young men, like young as in millennial Zoomers, which is like strange. With hella flirty messages on top of everything else, which is very unnerving for someone my age. But I realized at some point that I took pause and realized that maybe they were just reaching out. So I started to engage with a couple of them, and I asked them, questions and teased out of them their stories, and discovered to my surprise that there was this vast swath of men of color who were so closeted and had internalized so much of their homophobia that they weren't even able to talk to a single soul about it. And I was just heartbroken. This is tragic. And so I discussed it with my partner, Chris Smith, and I said, listen, I see the merits in coming out and presenting a positive image of gay love, a relationship, and I thought that it might empower or embolden some of these young men to at least live some kind of truth, even if it was just to a dear friend or someone close to them. And it's really, I did it for them, and I'm very glad I did.
Yeah, and I definitely want to congratulate your bravery and your courageous ability to be able to live your truth regardless of what people say. Now, it's also quite interesting to me that you've highlighted the two polar opposite ends of the spectrum, that within your culture as a brown man and in the Indian community, you might not have gotten the acceptance that you wanted. And then on the other side, being in the public eye, being a celebrity in essence, that you are going to be specifically targeted. Now, how then can one navigate the two, but still stand true and stay true to who they are?
If you have a very strong sense of who you are, and if you're firmly tethered to your selfhood, then it becomes a lot easier for you to live your truth. And I let truth and love be my guide and sword and shield. So basically, if I believe that if you stand firm in your convictions and you don't apologize for the thing you are intrinsically, innately, and that you cannot control, and if people will vilify you for that, then you stand firm and you articulate your desire to live an authentic life. And people, even if they disagree with you, they will respect it. They bow down before it, frankly, because not many people stand true to their convictions and identity and claim it and sort of radiate it outwards. People are in awe of that, frankly.
I agree. I mean, just watching you, yes, you are, decked out in a very beautiful setting there. We see you showing up our sets, but the true beauty is what's radiating from within you. I know you already name-dropped your partner's name in that previous question. Chris Smith, did I hear that correctly?
That's right, yes.
What does this union mean to you? That's that angel I want to talk about. And how have you been able to, grow the love irrespective of what the outside world has to say?
It's look, you said earlier that I had courage to do the thing I did. I have to I constantly check my privilege because, yes, I'm a brown man who's also gay. But there are many of our brothers and sisters within the LGBTQ plus community, particularly in working class areas, trans people in particular, and lesbians, who are routinely brutalized and victimized. So there isn't a lot of courage in me coming out when, in fact, our own brothers and sisters in this community are being targeted. I stand in solidarity with them, and I know where my next meal is coming from. I have a roof over my head. I'm not part of a working class community. I'm not dependent on anyone, so I can live the life I want to live. But not many people have that luxury.
Yeah. Well, I do thank you for giving the advice as to how people who are struggling with their sexual identity, how they can step out into their truth and into their light and into their purpose. Thank you so much, Imran Vega, for sharing your story with us. And please send our love to Bay Chris. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, if you are struggling with coming to terms with your sexual identity and orientation, always remember that many have come across the road before you, and that before you expect others to accept you and love you for who you are, you've got to start within, and you have to start to accept yourself and love yourself for who you are.
I just love him, don't you?
I do. I used to watch him back in the day on Eastern Music.
He's gorgeous. And I know his partner. Good for you. That's all I want to say. Good for you. Good for you. Invite us. Pali, you also must come with me to their place.
I mean, if a setup like that speaks volumes as to the type of person in the house they hold down, I want to be there too. But on social media, we have been asking you, a man is. Now, Toby, can you fill in the blank?
A man is vulnerable.
Wow, that's powerful. And it's that vulnerability that we're about to tap into with our next guest. Coming up, we meet Chad Esau, a Cape Town model who is shattering beauty industry standards by proudly wearing his skin condition, Vitiligo, without fear.
Express yourself.
we chat to Chad Esau, model and semi-finalist for the Mr. South Africa competition, about the challenges he's faced with his vitiligo. Welcome to the Loft, Chad.
Hi, Palisa. Thank you for having me.
First and foremost, congratulations on your semi-finalist spot in the Mr. South African competition. Now tell us about that journey so far and what made you decide to enter the competition.
The Mr. Esau journey has been really amazing so far. The support, the encouraging, these people are making me cry happy tears. And I decided to join Mr. Esau because I've always needed a platform to inspire other people. So I've always believed in this statement, aspire to inspire. So I believe that the Mr. Esau platform is going to give me the platform to inspire a lot of young people and children that are being bullied.
Now, Chad, you started showing signs of skin pigmentation at a young age, and you were bullied about your skin tone and the way that you looked. How has this affected you, and what has helped you to cope with it?
Honestly, Palisa, my self-esteem had like a knock at a very young age. And I had a support structure. I had my family. My mom has been very supportive. And I was just surrounded by some good family members. And also, like, I try not to break myself down.
I just need to understand more about the self-talk. When you say break yourself down, what does that entail? What does that look like? And then what do you tell yourself to kind of take yourself out of that spot?
The thing is, when other people judge you, and it comes down to a point where you judge yourself as well, because you're looking at yourself through the views of other people. So eventually I had to stop and look myself in the eyes in the mirror and just tell myself that I'm good enough. And I finally understood that my mom said that I am made perfectly in God's image.
Now, Chad, tell us about your modeling career. How did it all start for you? And how did you feel about yourself once you took that leap of faith and started modeling?
This started with a sticky note, a prayer, and I was scouted at work on a night shift. When this happened, I jumped to the opportunity. I was excited because it was a dream that came true.
Now, you're also an ambassador for an anti-bullying campaign called Braveheart. Now, what words of encouragement can you give to young boys and men that are facing challenges with bullying and low self-esteem?
I was telling them that there is nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with being different. And they should not allow other people's perspective of them change the perspective of themselves. Sorry.
As a Mr. South Africa finalist, you are breaking barriers in the modeling industry. How do you want to be accepted? And how do you want others to see you and not just your skin tone?
The thing is, Palisa, I used to struggle. The thing I wanted people to accept me. But now I don't give anyone the choice to accept me. I just do me. I do myself. I treat others how I want to be treated. And I want them to remember me for the way I make them feel when we're having a conversation.
And with that, you've made me feel so much more enlightened in terms of the day-to-day struggles that people with vitiligo face. Now, Chad, you have mentioned that your mom plays such a vital role in your life. And it is August, Women's Month. What message do you have to all the South African women and men out there during this time?
Please protect our women. Don't hurt them. Treat them like your sisters and your mothers and your aunts. We need to love one another in this, especially during this pandemic. We need to stop killing our women. Just love them, appreciate them.
And on that note, we salute you, Chad. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Palisa.
Now, those are some brave steps and embracing his skin differences from Chad Esau. If you'd like to vote for Chad, please follow him on his social media for the voting details.
Wow. Chad. Funny enough, South Africa, I have a couple of Chads that I know, and all of them seem to be breaking norms. All of them are vulnerable. All of them are just opening up, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
But don't you think it's so beautiful, the skin with the mark on the skin? I just found it so gorgeous.
The one thing I love about it, Palisa, is that it looks like art on the body.
Yes,
that's what I love about it.
That's it. Yeah.
You know how last week we were speaking to Ugotatso, to Kgotatso Ditebe. Now, essentially, Kgotatso Ditebe and Chad Esau, same WhatsApp group. These are individuals that are breaking boundaries when it comes to beauty standards in the modeling industry. And you know, those are that's the toughest industry to crack when it comes to looks.
Exactly, because you have to be perfect according to a certain standard. So they're saying perfection is whatever I deem it to be.
Absolutely, because who's perfect to who?
Exactly.
Now, it is Thursday, so you know what that means? Fashion Express Thursday. So coming up, we connect with fashion designer Toby Cooper, who caters specifically to one of the most expressive demographics around, the LGBTQ plus family, honey. And listen, we're here for it, so don't go anywhere.
Express yourself.
Afternoon Express is all things fashion on our Fashion Express Thursdays. And we're joined now by fashion designer Toby Cooper as he discusses how he chooses to represent the LGBTQI plus culture in his designs. Toby, my brother, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm telling you, the last time you were here back in the day, I think I was new to the Afternoon Express family. So touching base, even though it's locked down, I'm good, honey.
Amazing, and it's good to chat to you once again.
Yeah, now Toby, look, back in the day, you hadn't graduated yet, but now, after so many years, 2 years, I believe, you just graduated from fashion school, so congratulations. How has this grown over the past 2 years?
So I've grown so much as a creative post graduating from fashion school. I've learned how to, work in the business of fashion. And yeah, shortly after I graduated, I went to work for one of South Africa's biggest retailers. And that's where I gained knowledge about how the business of fashion works. So learning the design aspect of things from fashion school has now, combined with how to do business and make money out of it.
Oh, wow. I think that those are skills a lot of fashion designers are yearning for. So I'm so glad you were given the opportunity to get that. But now, Toby, let's fast forward to 2020. It has been a 2020 of struggles and challenges because of COVID-19. Now, how has lockdown affected your career?
it has been hectic. It started out like as a very good year. I had a lot of plans for my brand and all of that, and then things just changed completely. And the fashion industry was shut down completely. There were no clients buying items because they were too focused on the fear of the virus and all of that. And it has been a struggle for business because we had to, I personally as a creative have been selling masks and everything in order to make money. And, it has been hectic. But now I think I'm starting to see the industry clearing up more. And then people are starting to buy more items and all of that. And then there's fashion shows coming through happening virtually. So it's quite exciting. It's not as... It was a few months back.
It does seem like it's not only doom and gloom anymore. People are making ways and being flexible, and things are starting to turn around with the arrival of the virtual 2020 SA Men's Fashion Week. Now tell us all about your collection that you displayed there.
Yes, so during lockdown, I was contacted by South African Menswear to debut my latest spring-summer collection on their show. So this was my second time showcasing, so it was very exciting for me, to be invited. And it was, such an opportunity for me to get out of the lockdown zone and actually be creative again and create something. So I created a collection called Metanoia, which is a Greek term that basically means change, and it was so fitting of this moment in life where we have to deal with change. And so that's the collection that I showcased a few weeks back.
How do you hope your designs and your work will positively impact the way that South African societies view the LGBTQ plus community?
So with the LGBTI, with the Metanoia collection, I'm trying to put out a message, about the LGBTI community and gender neutrality, educating people about it. It's time for us to erase, gender roles and what, people perceive about gender. It's time for us to come together and let everybody be who they want to be, regardless of gender or their sexual orientation.
Yeah. Now, Toby, on today's show, that is exactly what I'm trying to do here. Start this conversation and get people really thinking about the gender roles and stereotypes that are set up, especially when it comes to the men, our masculine men that, feel like they can't be vulnerable and can't be sensitive. So, Toby, right now you've got a unique opportunity to touch base with your people, your customers, and the people that follow you. What message would you love to give to not only the men, but the members of this vulnerable community in the LGBTQI+?
So the message that I'm trying to put out in the brand and the movement that I'm trying to, start is that, everyone is free to wear whatever they want to wear. I believe I'm part of the menswear revolution that, blends out what people perceive as women's wear and men's wear. Everybody can wear whatever they want to wear. Fashion has evolved so much over the years. And, with the collection that I showcased, you would see that, there's men wearing skirts, wearing crop tops, wearing pink and all of that. So, it's a celebration of just being free and celebrating yourself, whether you're in the LGBTI community or not, just be you and celebrate who you are.
It's as simple or as difficult as that, South Africa. Thank you so much, Toby Cooper, for joining us this afternoon and sharing your collection. I'm definitely looking forward to more virtual fashion shows. Goodbye.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Toby Cooper is living proof that the work most intimate and close to one's heart is often the work that succeeds. We wish him all the best in his future ventures and can't wait to get a peek into his upcoming collections.
He's just so young and so talented. And I love his first show's name is Change. And the change that we're going through, that's what he explained. He's like revolutionary. Alessa, you interviewed this guy. It must have impressed you a lot.
I mean, for the fact that we're matching outfits, it says a lot.
Great minds think alike.
I saw that.
I love that too. And that's on my notes. I want to say, South Africa, a man is creative.
I agree with you there.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and talking about being creative, there's a certain amount of creativity that needs to happen in the kitchen to make the magic that you ladies make daily.
Yes.
So what can we expect coming up?
We can expect indulgence. We can expect deliciousness. We can expect flavor. We can expect a whole lot because we're making a stuffed French toast.
With cheese, cream cheese.
Inside, pakat.
Well, you might as well take the people to the ad break then.
Join us after the break then.
Express yourself.
Warm up your winter with Super M. Whether you need a morning pick-me-up, a midnight snack, or a study cram filler. Buy any Super M. Follow Super M SA on Instagram or Facebook. Upload a photo of you enjoying a warmed-up Super M and use the hashtag #WarmUpFiller to stand a chance of winning your share of that 500,000 Rand in cash and prizes. Nothing beats the long-lasting freshness and quality taste of Clover fresh milk. Made with love by Clover.
Happy Thursday!
Happy Thursday! It's nearly Friday.
Almost there, almost there. And if French toast is a dish you enjoy from time to time, then you're going to love our Clover Fresh Milk stuffed French toast. And this recipe is made with the tangy cream cheese filling, and it's served with the zingy strawberry reduction.
I just want to know, Queen, where did you come up with this recipe?
Well,
because this for me is like a French toast cheesecake. That's what I see.
Well, before I answer that question, I want to ask you a riddle. Answer me, let me know. What's blue, has a high IQ and an age restriction?
Gosh, I mustn't answer that because my head is going very dirty now. What?
Done. It's our Clover Fresh Milk. It comes in the blue bottle, and it's got 55 quality test high IQ.
High IQ.
And it's got an age restriction. It can stay fresh for up to 18 days.
Well done, James. Well done.
So now that that's done, this is a recipe that I actually was inspired by a chef that I watch on another show. His name is Guy Fieri, and he goes from restaurant to restaurant looking at, and these chefs do amazing things. And I saw that, and I was like, how's about I put my own spin on it? And funny enough, not only do they fill and stuff the French toast, but they're also coated with funny stuff. So I'll show you what I've seen, but with my little version of it. So to start it off, our main ingredient, the hero of today, Clover fresh milk, and we're going to be starting with that. Actually, let me put in
everything
here.
I see is blue here. The bottle is blue, the plates are blue.
Did you notice?
I noticed.
I did that
You're color-coding. Very color-coding.
I did that intentionally because, like we said, guys, there's nothing blue about this Clover fresh milk. As in blue as a negative, this is a summery, happy blue.
I love Guy's show as well, and I love the recipes because it's very over the top.
Yes.
American recipes. You know, they want to throw butter, they want to throw milk, they cream.
Yes.
It's over the top and rich.
Very indulgent.
Yeah.
Those are the recipes that they make, and those are the recipes I like. I won't lie. I like indulgence, and so does my waistline, guys, so I won't lie. I have to take it easy sometimes because that food that they do there is amazing. But also we want to show South Africa that we can do it. Also, even me, I can do this.
For sure, for sure. Look at this wonderful creation that you've created now.
Yes.
I'm busy here with the filling. So I've got cream cheese here, and I just added some icing sugar. And this morning when Toomey made it, I actually took a spoon and just started eating it. It is so delicious. So I'm just going to add some icing here and some lemon zest, and I'm going to put my twist on it.
Okay.
I love pink peppercorns.
Okay.
It's like a florally peppercorn. And I know it's quite expensive, but when you buy it, you keep it for years in your cupboard. So I'm going to add a few peppercorns, pink peppercorns. It's very much used in sweet dishes.
Actually, I want to taste.
Just take one or two out of there and taste it.
Because you were telling me that you've had this batch of peppercorns for
about 4 or 5 years already.
That actually tasted sweet first.
I know.
And then florally, and then
Isn't it fantastic?
interesting. And it's actually going to work with the strawberries.
Exactly.
This girl.
Remember, pepper goes with strawberries, like balsamic vinegar that we've discussed previously.
Okay.
I just want to quickly finish this up. Ek is nou my bietjie stadig vandag.
So like we said, that's South Africa, it's a stuffed French toast. So normally French toast would just be this. It goes into bread, goes into some eggs and milk and whatever, and you fry it.
I just want to taste if it's 100%.
Please do. Quality control is very important in this kitchen. Thank you. So now that you've done that, I'm going to fill our French toast first before we go any further with our amazing cream cheese filling.
I've never seen that in my life.
Never. Ever. Ever.
No.
I bring the flavor here. I bring the big guns here. We don't play. And if you'd like South Africa, you can also add the strawberries into the inside of the actual bread if you'd like to.
Yeah.
But we're not because we've got the reduction on the side. You close it up nicely, and then we dunk it into our Clover fresh milk and egg mixture over here. And then we're going to put it into our pan. I want to make sure that I cover all the sides, right? So this is the first step. And no, we're not done. I was telling you about how they go extra in America.
Yeah.
They're coated with cereal. So this is optional. If you want to, you can add the cereal. If not, you don't have to. If you want to get the actual recipe ingredients, go into afternoonexpress.co.za. If you don't...
too much for me. That is so cute. You know, I cannot believe it's going to be snap, crackling, popping in your mouth as well.
And then the flavors of the tangy cream cheese, and then the flavors of the reduction. I promise you this is going to be amazing. And there we go. Into our pan to nicely brown on the outside, cook that egg off, and then
I've started a coulis here with some strawberries, sugar, and lemon juice. You know what? It reminds SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't know if you know SpongeBob, but it looks like SpongeBob.
It does, actually. You have a very valid point. It looks a lot like SpongeBob SquarePants, but I promise you it doesn't taste like SpongeBob. It does not taste like who lives under the sea. It's not that
And he
kind.
smiles the whole time, and I'm sure this one smiles the whole time.
So it's going to snap, crackle, and pop inside your mouth. mouth with all those flavors, all those deliciousness. And all you want is for it to be nice and brown on the outside. You obviously want to cook off the eggs in there because we don't want no salmonella. But once it's nice and brown, then you just top it with our reduction. I've actually got some that we made earlier. You just put this on top of this dish and you enjoy it. And I know, funny enough, in the US, they actually do serve this as a dessert, not even as a breakfast
I can imagine
dish.
because it's actually like a bread pudding.
Yes.
Because it's soaked in the milk and the flavoured milk and it's fried then. But I want to say to my Ricky baby, can I please have this for breakfast this Sunday? I want this for breakfast in my tummy. This is it.
Yeah, he better. For all the cooking that you've been doing for all these years, he better make this recipe for you on Sunday. I'll be watching Ricky baby. And if you also want to make this recipe as well, South Africa, go to afternoonexpress.co.za to get your hands on this lovely recipe and make sure you enjoy this indulgence.
Can I have one piece? I want a piece, please, please, please. I need a piece.
Let me
It
just
looks
add
so
the
divine. I want to taste it. Can I?
Please go in.
Oh, my word. Look at this. The colours pop and the cream cheese inside.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thank you. And that's it, South Africa.
Beautiful.
Now that's one refreshing way to step closer to the weekend. To get your hands on this recipe, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
Nothing beats the long-lasting freshness and quality taste of Clover fresh milk. Made with love by Clover. It's eating time, ladies.
Yes.
You know how we always end off the show by saying happy eating?
Yeah.
Because that's is exactly what it is. It's a happy time for families.
And basically, I like the fact that you say happy eating every time, because that's like our cue to say dig in.
But let's dig into today's content. There was some juicy content that we had our incredible men kind of giving us today, and I love that. And I also like the fact that it's so crucial to highlight every type of man. You know, every type of man, every type of strong man, every type of vulnerable man. And at the end of the day, ladies, it's essentially let's all help each other to be the best.
Exactly, because especially, let's say, for a person like me who's raising a boy. Yes, we're talking about Women's Month, but I'm raising a boy, so I need to make sure that I raise him in the right way for the future women as well, and for him to become the best version of himself.
And I love men these days that wears dresses and that wears skirts. And I love that type of people, and we must accept them, and because they're so creative. They lighten up my day when I see them.
I love that too. So I want South Africa to keep on streaming, giving us those words. A man is blank. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express. Cheers, ladies, to this food and this incredible company. Now join us again tomorrow, Mzansi, as we connect with and Sipho Hot Sticks Mabusa. Until then, Mzansi, good night, stay safe, and happy eating.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.